did you transition from this? I know you're relatively new in the fine art sort of
yes
of things, but
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is that some of the pieces, for example, that we're gonna show, we're showing in San Diego, etc. Some are newer that I took last summer, but some are a couple of years old.
Right.
So basically, I've been doing my personal, more artsy type of portraits or photography underwater. But the difference, what really happened, is that basically I wasn't doing anything with it. I was just doing it for the sake of creating because it was fun, because I just love it. And then before it was just okay, we'll post in social media, and of course I do, but you know that it stays up 24 hours and then everybody forgot about it, and I started to get well, of course that doesn't feel very good. And recently, and also so there's been a couple of switches in my mind as well, because I started to offer this as a service, literally, for others. So taking portraits, although they're artistic, I kind of always consider this not as an art, but more as a service that I will give to people. And then randomly, people started to refer to my photography as art. And after, like in the beginning, I would kind of almost shut it down a little, like it's just a service, it's what I do. And then I have a couple of friends that insisted a little bit in no, this is actually art, and why don't you start to print, or why don't you you should consider it that way. And since then I've been thinking about it basically without knowing really what to do about it. It's not although I always loved art, and when I was a kid, it was my favorite thing, drawing and painting. And I was actually, I was meant to go to in Italy, we have a high school divided by, so you have the science high school, you have the art high school, the languages high school, and so on. I was signed up for the art high school, but it was a private one. And because they didn't have enough people going, I literally shut down before 2 weeks before it started. So I ended up for doing language high school. Well, our story for another day, but I always loved it. But I wasn't familiar with the art world, and I just didn't know how it worked. And it took me like a long time of observing and trying to understand, and I felt stuck for a long time. I really didn't know what to do, about it. And then until this year, oh, it was a crazy I'm sorry, I'm saying this year, but I mean 2024. Yeah, I was really busy. I built my own house. I mean, not me literally building it, but yeah, it's built now and I live here, but that was so busy. And when I eventually moved, everything got quiet a little. And there was also a little bit of a dip with work. So I had 2 or 3 months with not so much work, which was kind of great because it gave me the time to, to be bored enough to actually take action and started to do something about, and try to create kind of start an art career for myself, or at least attempting. And that's when I found, so I set up I did a bunch of print testing and so on. And then I set up my online print shop. And then I started to look for art calls. And that is when I found you guys.
Cool.
So this, and then I applied for Miami. I applied for a couple of things, but yeah, so I just literally, it's so recent to me. It's like literally a few months that I started to move in the art world, and I'm really loving it. I feel I've been received really well, and I really loved to also connect in person to other artists and photographers, art lovers. I didn't, until I started to go to these shows and so on, I didn't know how much I was craving for it. So this is a really cool part. Also, I had some not so great experiences here with other photographers. I found that there is a lot of competition.
Oh yes, yeah.
And I didn't feel, I imagine it's in any field, but I didn't feel it yet, with other photographers in the art world. Not yet, probably, but so far I really love the art community, and I'm excited to go to Mexico City for these shows.
I'm excited to meet you. I'm curious to hear a little bit about the process of doing these photos cenotes, because I imagine, I mean, first of all, you're saying that you know, people come in with different levels of swimming ability, but also like scuba is a very, you know, pretty intense process. So, and I've seen some of your little background videos and things, and I love the flowing fabric in the water. I love the way that these come together. Do you is it guided by like a vision that you have of what it is that you're trying to create? Is it a collaboration with the person you're photographing?
So about the fabrics is I agree. I really just love how they look and how you create this sense of movement with the fabrics, and you can play with colors and so on. And so it depends. Sometimes I want some specific colors that like in a shot, but I've been collaborating and becoming friends with a few underwater models, or I know also a lot of mermaids.
I was gonna say, so basically you're circulating in a community of mermaids.
Yes, yes, quite literally. And there's some, I've been had the pleasure to collaborate with a lot of professional mermaids, and what professional mermaids do these days. So they might be performing in the shows, but there are also some mermaids who have mermaid schools. These days, many people want to become mermaids, so they teach mermaids, which is it's actually, you know, not that easy as one might think to do it at a certain level. You know, they're really some of these girls are quite impressive and challenging to work with, because they can hold their breath forever. I have a pretty good breath hold, but some are really wow. They're athletes. So what was I gonna say? So yeah, I've been shooting with a lot of mermaids, and because it's something we connect. So basically, my process goes two ways. Sometimes it's more like I have something in mind that I want to try to create, and then I will hit up a friend or one of these mermaid friends or whoever come visits. I'll try to recreate what I have in mind. But also some other photos it can be kind of collaborative, you know, with a model, and they might bring a bunch of dresses that they think that will look cool, and a bunch of mine and fabrics, and we just play. It's definitely a very playful process of just trying things and see what looks pretty. And I've been in the past buying lots of different fabrics to understand how they move and so on in the water. And now I have my favorites. And but although yeah, sometimes also I've been loving also go for like really simple, even just nudes. So just flowing hair and just focus more on the movements of the body and so on. Or like the series, there is one work that it's on the way to you. It should arrive Monday for Bienes Culturales, and is one that I shot in the kelp forests of the Channel Islands in California. And those, I feel like the kelps itself was moving so much that I did shoot some dresses as well, but I feel almost I don't want to put two moving parts and really focus more on the movement of the kelp. And I've this friend of mine is a nude, and I very flowing hair, but still of this kelp moving in the current. I think I thought it was gorgeous. I was so inspiring shoot there. So yes, a bit of both, fabric and or nothing at all, or mermaid tails.
Lots of play. I mean, it's obvious that everybody is enjoying the play.
Yeah,
I love the compositions, and I love the ones with several nude figures going through the water, because everything about the work that you're doing has a very strong narrative to it. So and just the environment that you're shooting it in is so unique that it's a little bit entrancing. It's like a, you know, like magic.
Oh yes, the cenotes are definitely magical. They're honestly the cenotes in particular, but nature, underwater seascapes in general are really what inspires me. And what like I want to capture these beautiful places, but and I've been doing it before previously with scuba diving, but then I will always feel something was missing there. So
Sure.
then is when the human elements get in, or multiple of them, and fabrics and playing and poses and so on. But yes, definitely the nature is what gets me going.
Well, I mean, I've only seen your work digitally, so I'm very excited to have you coming to Mexico City to be a part of these shows and get to meet you in person and see the work in person.
Yeah,
And
same.
also, I love watching how people interact with other artists' work and things too. So I'll be really interested to see how people respond to the work. I'm sure it'll be very positive.
Looking forward to it as well. Yes. Yeah, people. I saw this the Miami show and in Palm Beach, sorry, West Palm Beach as well. I have one work there, and it's also funny and interesting for me as well because for me what I do, well, I normalized it a lot.
Right.
And also there's the communities. I mean, it's for example, this mermaid communities or free diving community. It's all water people, and we are kind of used to this. And some of my friends and colleagues are pretty hard to impress, let's say. And it was like so funny for me when, especially I think in a Palm Beach, talking to people that were just so fascinated and impressed just for the fact that I was underwater. I could be anything underwater, And it's funny for me to realize that, okay, maybe it's actually, it is a little bit of out of the ordinary, like is that I normalized it for myself, but it's not really that normal. So
well,
yeah.
I will look forward to seeing them in person and getting to meet you in person as well very shortly.
Yeah, very shortly. Oh my God. Yes.